Hey everyone, Wyduck welcoming you to Game 2 of this Best of 5 series from the GO4SC2 Cup number 310 edition. And this time on Derelict Watcher, we've got spawning in the bottom left as the green Zerg. We have Mouse Sports Hope. And his opponent, also the victor in Game 1, spawning as the blue Zerg in the top right. We have Team Quantic's Hyun. Last game was very interesting. Hope went for a spawning pool first. Hyun went for the hatchery. But basically, at about the 10-minute mark was the key moment in the game where Hope... Excuse me, I combined Hope and Hyun into Hyope. That might be a new Zerg player. If you want to make a good name, Hyope wouldn't be that bad if you combine these two players' names. But Hope, yes, I got it right that time. Hope went for an aggressive attack on Hyun's side of the map, and unfortunately his positioning of the roaches were met before he got to Hyun's base. And his positioning was not that good, and Hyun was able to get a better concave, and therefore Hyun's roaches were able to spit a lot more and a lot better, doing significantly more DPS. And unfortunately, at that point, Hope lost a whole bunch of roaches. And even though the supplies were fairly even, it's kind of like Mutalisk versus Mutalisk. If it's 30 versus 30, but you're able to kill 2 or 3 more, the exponential future DPS of your units, because you've lost those units at the beginning of the encounter, drops significantly. And Hope, from that point on, was just reeling, wasn't able to reestablish himself, and within a few minutes, Hyun was just completely able to overrun Hope's defenses. So Hyun was able to take game 1 convincingly. So we'll have to see if either player is going to mix things up. Now, once again, Hope does go for the extractor first, so he wants that early gas, and last game it was the same thing. And also, Hyun also did not get an extractor until much later. So Hope did have access to Zergling speed, but in that game, you have to remember the roaches were the key significant play because Hope didn't actually use that many Zerglings. So using that, 100 gas for that Zergling speed, it didn't seem to really play much of a role. There weren't that many Banelings or Zerglings in that game. So looks like Hope might be going for Zergling speed again, but I hope, no pun intended, I hope that Hope is going to be using Zergling speed with Zerglings instead of just getting Zergling speed with nothing. So there we go. The 100 gas is immediately dumped into Zergling speed. And hopefully, once again, no pun intended. Man, is this why Hope picked this name? So there's just so many puns? But I hope that Hope can strike, make this game go very long, maybe tie this series up. Right now, he's getting the Banelings nest again. And like I said in the previous game, there wasn't that many Banelings. I don't recall any Banelings, actually. I could be wrong, but I know for sure there weren't that many Banelings. Now, Hyun is going to try and get a scout in here, and he is able to. He's able to spot that Banelings nest. And he's also able to spot how much gas has been pulled from that extractor before that Zergling does go down, finally. Hyun is getting a spine crawler for some static defense. He still doesn't have an extractor, just like last game. But we'll have to see if Hope's going to be going for some Banelings this time. I feel like last game, like I said, building a Banelings nest but not getting any Banelings is kind of strange. Now we do see 2 extractors going up for Hyun in the natural and as well as the main. So Hyun's going to be pumping out those drones for those extractors. And we also do see that creep spread starting. Hyun's creep spread was significantly better than Hope in the previous game. And it looks like the trend is continuing in this game as well. Hope has not even put down 1 creep tumor. And I really think that's going to be a problem. He really needs to connect this creep highway between the main and the natural if there is a run-by of Zerglings or something like that. Now, Hyun also doesn't have any creep tumors connecting his bases, so that could be an issue later on. But he does have 3 queens near the front of his ramp to his natural. And he's also got 2 evolution chambers and a roach horn with a spine crawler protecting it. So it's going to be very difficult for Hope to run by. There's not that much area to squeeze through, excuse me. Hope's space, on the other hand, is wide open for business. So if Hyun really wants to knock on some doors and actually kick down some doors and just do a little bit of a B&E, Hope might not have much of a counter. Now, Hope is going for his third. And this seems to be like a mirror of game 1 because Hope went for the third hatchery as well before Hyun. But Hyun is putting down his third as well, much quicker than last time. Now, the Overseer from Hope is getting shot down by the Queens. You have to remember the Queens are much faster than Overseers when they're on the creep. And that's another advantage of getting that creep spread. And look at this creep spread from Hyun. Even though it's not necessarily excellent, it is quite good. But unfortunately, Hope is going to be able to spot this third hatchery and do some significant damage as well. Is he going to be able to get the cancel on this? The Queens are trying to rush up the ramp, but there's not enough creep. The Zerglings are being microed to the far side of this hatchery. Cancel might go down. 2 of the Zerglings have been destroyed. Is it going to pop? No. Going to get the cancel instead. So good move by Hope. Able to delay the construction of that hatchery for another minute and a half or so. We do have roaches on the way for Hope, but we have Hydralisk coming from Hyun. So it looks like Hyun is going to be going for a roach and Hydra composition instead of just purely roaches like last game. And I mentioned last game, I think Hydras are very good behind roaches because they supply such a significant DPS boost. But the Hydra's weakness is obviously that they're a lot weaker than roaches. So you want the roaches in the front and Hydras behind. And if Hyun can get this composition going, it might be difficult for Hope, because if Hope only has roaches, I think this composition of roaches Hydras will be better. But we do have a lot more roaches here from Hope. We've got 18 in total against 11 and 8 Hydras. We'll have to see who comes out on top here. The roaches are spitting wildly at everything. The Hydras are trying to do significant damage, but they're off the creep, and now it looks like Hope is going to retreat. He's able to cut down almost all the roaches. There's only 1 roach left. There are 3 reinforcing this position, but I think this might be a problem for Hope if he's going to engage on Hyun's creep. Those reinforcements do rally very quickly to Hyun's army, so I think it's better for Hope to temporarily stand down as he has. I think that's a wise decision. And look at this creep spread. There have been no creep tumors. The only creep spread is basically from this Overlord just spitting it down here. And it looks like the roaches are going to go in for another attack, but Hope is going to think better of it and retreat, at least temporarily. So like I mentioned before, the creep spread is basically for Hope non-existent. He only got 1 Overlord and he has no creep tumors. And I really have to question this play. I can't remember last time I've seen a Zerg game go past 10 minutes with no creep tumors for any one player, but that seems to be the case in this game. And maybe this creep tumor or non-creep tumor strategy will work. You do have to remember when you're playing ZVC that it does give a boost advantage to your opponent's army as well. So that is something to consider in a mirror matchup for ZVZ. Obviously, if you're playing against Protoss or Terran, the creep tumors only benefit you and do not benefit the other player. Now, the supplies are fairly even, and it looks like Hope is going for that Roach and Hydra composition as well. Now, what Hyun does have is he does have a slight upgrade advantage, and he's actually going to be finishing +2 missile attacks as well. Once that finishes, he'll be up quite a bit. He's at 1-1 right now. Hope is at 2-0 actually, so it's about fairly even. But the Roaches, excuse me, are it's better to have armor upgrades for the Roaches, but it's better to have missile upgrades for the Hydras because they shoot so much faster. So it's difficult to tell who has the upgrade advantage here, but once that level 2 missile attacks does finish for Hyun, he'll have the clear advantage upgrade-wise. But we do have an attack at the top right base of Hyun. Some Roaches got in here, and they're able to pick away at some of these Roaches. but not able to do that much damage. So that attack was not very significant, only able to destroy one drone. So both players are stabilizing on 3 bases. I'm kind of waiting to see who's going to go for their 4th base first. Because if neither player is going to push and be aggressive, it's whoever can maintain a 4th base first is probably going to come out as the victor. Now, once again, you have to remember, because Hope doesn't have any real creep spread, it's difficult for him to actually be the aggressor. Because it takes him a lot longer to actually get to Hyun's side of the map. And it looks like Hope is trying to find that 4th base from Hyun, but Hyun hasn't put down his 4th base either. Now, a whole bunch of overlords are going down, but it is going to actually supply block Hyun. Hyun is going to move in here, looks like, to meet these 2 attacking forces. We've got a large encounter here. The roaches and hydras are just going at it. I'm not sure how much micro is going on, just a lot of macro it looks like, but Hyun's army is falling apart. Look at the supply difference. It's 10 supply in favor of Hope, and Hope is reinforcing this position, but I think Hyun is going to be able to hold here. He does have reinforcements coming. So Hope is going to withdraw just a little bit. And if you take a look at the resources too, Hyun is behind in resources and also in supplies. So Hope did do a lot of damage here. And he is going to be going for his 4th hatchery as well. And like I said before, if he's able to get his 4th base up and running and able to hold it for a significant amount of time, I think Hope will come out ahead in this game. And with almost a 30 supply advantage, Hope looks like he's in the driver's seat right now. Now, the one thing that is going for Hyun, he's getting +2 carapace as well, so he's going to have a significant upgrade advantage over his opponent. So even though his army is smaller, he will have better units. So we'll have to see if a larger army is going to win this, or if a better tooled army will win. But as time goes on, you know, Hope had a 30 supply advantage. I really think he needs to push even further. It's kind of like when you're ahead, you want to get even more ahead. If you let your opponent stabilize, he might be able to come back. And like I said, with those upgrade advantages, I think Hope might have some problems here. Now, Hope is going around the north side of this, you know, blue flame tower thingy-majigger. And Hyun is going to retreat back now, able to see what was going on. So he's going to step back. I think that's a wise decision. We actually have 3 roaches from Hyun just marching in here, waltzing into the 3rd base of Hope, targeting down that queen. That queen will not survive. And now these drones are under attack, but we got a large confrontation here near Hyun's base. And Hope is just marching forward with all those hydras, but he doesn't have a lot of roaches protecting the hydras. But Hyun is retreating now, but the supplies are in favor of our blue Zerg. Is this a mistake for Hope to push in? We'll have to find out. Hydras are doing significant DPS, but we don't have a lot of hydras left for Hyun. We don't have a lot of roaches left for Hope, so it looks like hydras versus roaches. And I really think it looks like Hyun is going to be able to hold here. He has lots of reinforcements, and he has home base advantage as well, and he's going to be scaring Hope's hydras and roaches away, and now Hyun has a 30 supply advantage, so I'm not sure what happened there. Because in that engagement, it looked like both players had pretty solid concaves on each other. We had 2 engagements, a little bit to the north here, and 1 near the middle here. But look at the supplies. They've totally flipped around, and the resources lost has totally evened out. And now it's going to be up to Hope to make something happen here, because if Hyun... I think if Hyun comes in here, he can go in here for the finishing blow with such a large supply advantage. Now, we do have 4 roaches coming in here to harass this 4th base of Hope. All those roaches will be lost immediately, so a good pickup by Hope, able to even out those resources lost just a little bit. But Hyun is still ahead by about 25 supply. Now by 40, we've got 8 more roaches in production, and you know they're going to be rallied immediately into the battlefield. Now Hope is going to try and confront Hyun near the middle of the map. Is this going to be a mistake? Now Hope is more roach heavy, and Hyun is more balanced, but I think Hyun's army is much larger. Look at the supply difference. We've got 40 to 40 roaches, but we've got 12 to 5 hydras for Hyun. And we've also got more roaches in production from Hyun than Hope. So it looks like this may be the final stand. Whoever wins this engagement will probably win the game. We've got so many roaches on both sides of the battlefield. And here we go. Rock'em sock'em robots. Roaches are just moving into position. But it looks like Hyun is doing a lot more DPS. The roaches have to advance forward. They don't have that much range compared to the Hydras. Now it looks like Hyun's reinforcements are constantly streaming in as well. And there's not that much creep threat for Hope. Is Hope going to be able to hold on here? We have way too many roaches from Hyun. We have 3 lone Hydras in the back doing significantly more damage than the roaches. And it looks like Hope is going to fall again. You take a look at the supplies, 141 to 69. And Hope is not going to be able to hold on here. The might of the 2-2 army is just too strong for the 2-0 army. And this is where, even when the armies are kind of close, or if you have a slightly larger army, those upgrades significantly help. And you have to remember, Hydras do spit very quickly when they shoot the spines out, but Hyun had +2 armor, so those Hydras are only doing 12 damage instead of 14, and that's a big difference. That's over a 10% difference. So basically, Hyun's army is more than 10% more efficient. And you could really see it in that engagement. Once again, the upgrades played an advantage. I'm not sure why Hope didn't upgrade more. He had double evolution chambers. I don't know why he just upgraded missile attacks. At a time, he had many more resources than Hyun, but he opted not to upgrade. And so Hyun was able to pull forward and able to secure the victory again. So he's now up 2-0 in this best of 5. We'll have to see if Hyun can close it out, sweep up the series, or if Hope can come back and force a game 4. I'm really interested to find out, so let's head over to game 3.